Guys, what's going on here today? Where are you guys going?
So we're going up to the Bronx to expose NYCHA's lack of accommodations and basic necessities for those who live in the projects. We're going to go meet a young man who is running in that district, who wants to make a difference. And we're going to go see for ourselves his apartment as well as some of his tenants. And if the weather permits, unfortunately it is pouring, we would like to go see a neighboring shelter that was put in the area that a lot of the residents aren't happy with. And they've called us up to take a look at it and give them a little bit of a voice. And that's what we're going to do. Good to see you, brother.
See you.
A rainy day, but we're here.
All right, brother. Good to see you. How's everything?
All right.
Good to see you.
So you came up here today, Tyreek. Obviously,
Right.
you wanted us to meet some folks here in the projects. You live here as well,
Yes.
and we spoke about that there are veterans, there's city workers, there's school teachers here, citizens. And another thing that concerns me is the amount of money NYCHA has in their budget.
Right.
We're seeing a lot of garbage here, a lot of scaffolding, things that should be fixed, things that shouldn't be like this. And what bothers me is what I want to do when I'm controller. I want to audit NYCHA first, because there's no reason that they have such a bloated budget and they're not doing what they should be doing. And then we have illegal aliens we're subsidizing. Some of them are criminal enterprises that are unfortunately being taken care of a lot better than you and your residents here.
Well, hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Tyreek Goodman, and I'm running for City Council District 8. And I'm here with Peter, who's also with the controller, who's running as a candidate as well. And my slogan is, be the change you wish to see. As a resident in NYCHA and also as a citizen, I don't feel like I'm being represented, nor does the average citizens or the people who pay their tax-paying dollars into these organizations are being represented. If you look around, you can see clutter, dirt everywhere. These things, I get that they gotta build up and they gotta scaffold and change the bricks, which I'm not neglecting their job. But these things been up for so long, it makes you feel constricted. And then when we talk about budgeting and we're talking about money and we're talking about audit, I'm gonna show you some of the things that we've been living like this. Things have never been changing, no matter who's been in office. So understand, it takes for a person who's now actually living in NYCHA to run for city council to make that change. We got, like I said, city workers here, veterans here. We have people who work, citizens, good kids here. We got everybody here that also keeps the engine running. So we should be taken care of. We should have our community centers open. It's so much more that we're gonna get into and talk about. But let's go inside. Let's look. Let's look.
Right.
Let's look at this.
Take a look at it.
As you see, this building, this door has been like this since I was 15, 16. So you would think that they would change it. You got bullet holes here, bullet holes there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. They'll fix this, and this will constantly change. But as you see right now, it doesn't even work. If somebody wanted to come inside my building, all they got to do is just open the door.
So wait, the intercom's not working.
The intercom is not working.
Still got bullet holes.
Still got bullet holes.
And you just pull it open.
You can just pull it open.
And you also got shot at one point.
Yeah, when I was 16. It wasn't over here, but just
nonetheless.
imagine if you're going through stuff like that, walking out my building, sometimes you might want to protect yourself. So when we talk about when we have elderly here and we got kids and and the detriment of feeling safe, you're bringing, and then they built the migrant shelter that houses 200,000 men.
Right here.
Well, actually, like 5 blocks down.
Okay, I think we drove by it.
Buckner Boulevard.
Oh yeah, we saw
Yeah.
it.
So when you see that, they can easily come in and out of our building if they want.
No problem.
No problem.
And there's no security guard
No
here.
security
we don't
guard.
see any housing police or
We
anything.
got our own security guards, but they protect the building just regularly. But other than outside of that, that's just regular folks. But look, this is not working. This is not here.
So out of an agency that has so much money that's supposed to be
Excuse me.
So out of an agency that has so much money that's supposed to be doing the right thing, I mean, there's plenty of staff, there's plenty of contracts that go up that,
Correct.
Other companies come in and supposed to do the job that the NYCHA guys can't do. And
Right.
somebody's not doing it. Let me ask you, what is the sentiment from the residents here when they see these illegal aliens being subsidized and taken care of, and they're not?
I'm gonna be honest with you. People are so used to not being taken care of, they don't even feel like they need to fight. They see stuff like this, they walk past it. Ah, it's regular. Excuse me. You know, they'll see stuff like this and it's just regular. So you gotta understand, when you start to live in a certain condition and you start to see certain things and you start to be like, well, you know what, messiness.
Becomes a norm.
It becomes a norm. It becomes a norm. You know? So that'll affect anybody's attitude. But come y'all come in. As you see, you know, they'll have stuff like this, you know, work permits in the building, things like that. Every once in a while, you know, I would say this. We will have them, you know, do things like this, bring up, you know, flyers and stuff like that, but actually having them open the centers up, they can bring these right to the people.
Wow.
Now this right here is the elevator plans. This always change every 5 months or so. The elevator was supposed to. Yeah, well, we only have one elevator.
How long's it been out?
I say the elevator's been out for about like one elevator for about like 3 years now.
So 2 elevators, the whole building. And one's now.
One is
how long?
for about 4 or 5 years now. Now it's either one is working or the other one is not working.
So they can't get them both to work together.
No, they just fixed this one, and now we're waiting for this one to be done. But that's gonna take another probably 5 months. Meanwhile, we only have one elevator. Now, if you see, we've been pressing this. We've been here for some time now.
Nothing. Wow. And how many apartments are in this building about? Do we know?
All together, I say about 16, right? You gotta be like 16, I think. Yeah.
So 16 stories?
15.
15 stories. So hundreds of apartments.
Right, correct.
Probably over 1,000 people, 2,000 people.
Right.
And you only have
And then as you
capacity
see,
for the
look,
elevators.
we also deal with stuff like this. Kitchen water would temporarily be off, you know, the beeline until further notice. Now, what I would say about NYCHA, what they do is sometimes they'll give you a call and say, hey, look, the water's gonna be out. They will give you a heads up. So, you know, I'm not here just to only bash NYCHA, but what I'm saying is that when we talk about the quality of life, our elected officials is supposed to be making sure that NYCHA is doing the best that they can and they have the support. So, for example, right, we will go down to the housing office and we'll complain about NYCHA about that door.
Okay.
Right? They would say, well, you have to speak to maintenance. That's a maintenance issue. Now, when you have those 2 separate apartments in NYCHA, you'll think that the communication will be done to get it fixed. Now, if they have bad communication, who's the next person to step in to say, let's get this done?
So it's a bureaucracy with a lot of red tape.
Right.
Two agencies within one, or 2 departments within one agency.
Correct.
And this has been out for a long time. We see the bullet holes in it.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Right.
Anyone could just walk up, bad or good, just walk into your building.
Correct.
Kids, seniors, veterans. Yeah, this is bad. And let me ask you this. When was the last time anyone either running for office or an elected official came here to talk to you or any of your fellow neighbors?
None. No. We haven't had anybody that come. They'll leave flyers, you know, they'll send other people to our food, but they're not really doing nothing or much to do.
Wow.
You know, when we come,
And basically, you know, hear from you guys firsthand and show our audience that's not just here in New York, but around the world, what's going on.
Well, my brother's always looking for avenues to actually help solve these problems, such as the litter outside when you see it's toxic.
It's terrible. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's terrible.
The solution that he actually came up with was like, why don't we have those big bins outside? You know what I mean? That would be an easy solution to all that garbage outside.
And what are the maintenance people doing here?
Let's cover that.
Yeah.
Like,
And we know that we're paying a lot of money tonight. So they have plenty of maintenance people. There's supers, there's cleaners, there's janitors. Where are they? What are they doing?
I mean, just imagine, right? Right now, it's all of us men in the elevator. You see how tight it is?
Yeah.
Just imagine how it would feel for a young lady or older woman
Yes.
or anybody that be in that situation. It's tight.
Yes.
So it's important we get these elevators working.
Sorry.
It's important that we get these elevators working, and it's important that they make sure that they take care of us. Now, once again, is this a NYCHA issue only? No, not really. Because let me tell you something. They have contracts that they have to send out to get people to fix these things. But they are also saying, because I have went to NYCHA and I have complained to them, and they have said, well, we're not getting the proper support that we deserve. So because they're not here, I would speak on their behalf that they're not also getting the proper proper help.
So this is a broken system from the top to the bottom.
It is. So what we need to do is our city and elected officials need to oversee this. You cannot just sit here and say that's not no longer my problem, my agency.
Mucho gusto.
Have a good
Gracias.
day. Bye-bye.
Usted también.
Hey,
Have a good one, my
thank
brother.
you, my man.
Oh,
All right.
anytime.
Thank you. All right.
So, you know, and I'm gonna take y'all to my house, take y'all to my apartment, you know.
And this is big money. By the way, NYCHA has a huge budget, one of the biggest budgets.
Yeah.
And whether they do the work themselves or they contract it out,
Right.
tremendous amount of money these companies are winning. There's no reason the work's not done and done the first time the right way in a timely manner.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you a little bit insight. But yeah. So, for example, right?
I'll be inside.
This is stuff that they'll put here. They just started putting this. Here.
Look at this one, Jesus.
This is the notice of asbestos. Now, on my floor is the only one that this is still on. The reason why is because they know who I am now.
Wait, so hold on. So just so our viewers,
If you go to another floor, you won't see.
Because we like to expose garbage, and the city's full of garbage. So, out of all the 16 floors here, Tyreek has these signs on his floor, but none of the others do because they may be a little timid that you're running for city council. Is that correct?
Correct. Come in. Let's go.
Let's take a look at this.
This is so long.
Let's show this to our viewers. So, what Tyreek was saying was that the asbestos warning that was in English and Spanish is on his floor because they're scared because he's running for city council. But we just came up to another floor random. You can see it's not here. So why is it only on his floor? Why is it not on the other floors?
Well, also, they look at it like this. NYCHA feels like this. We won't know if you have asbestos unless you call. My thing is that once one place found asbestos, they found asbestos on the floor above me. This is the house above me. So when they found that, they cleaned it out, they did everything else. You would think that they would check my floor, my house for asbestos.
They would check every unit.
They would check every unit. No. It's if your floor tiles is not broken or if it doesn't show evidence of it, we're not gonna test it. How? When we deal with rain, when we deal with old buildings.
So hold on. So just because one of you was to put this together. So
Right.
for those of you who are not familiar with NYCHA, some of our viewers might not be. Those of you who are. So if you don't have a hole in your floor, your ceiling, your wall,
Right.
the city of New York and NYCHA will not test your unit for asbestos.
It doesn't exist. It's a problem that doesn't need to be fixed because it's okay. It's
So
unnecessary.
just the fact that the wall, the hole, there's no hole there.
So imagine me, right, who's been living in my apartment for about, I say, more than 10 years plus. But I say the floor issue started to happen, and with the whole me seeing the floors and it deteriorating, started to happen like, let's say, roughly about 6 to 7 years ago.
Okay.
Correct? That means I've been living with this for 6 or 7 years. My daughter's 2 years old now. I just found out this year that we had asbestos from the floor towels and possibly from the wall unit. And now I'm on the waiting list to be moved. Well, come on, let's show you the clip.
And when you say you're on the waiting list, how many years or months does that entail?
They don't know, but
So-
my thing is that I have a 2 years old.
Will it be in your building or it could be somewhere
It
else?
could be anywhere. It could be in a place where the gangs could be. It could be anywhere. I don't want it to be.
Wow. So unfortunately, people like you who have a problem, you're at the mercy of the scheduling and the availability of NYCHA.
I have a 2-bedroom apartment. I can't even utilize, so I have a 2-bedroom apartment. I can't even utilize the second bedroom because of the asbestos issue. Outside of that,
what do you do in that room?
outside of that, right? Because I just use that storage for my daughter's stuff, right? Because we can't use it. So outside of that, then they're gonna move me to a 1-bedroom. And then possibly move me back to my 2-bedroom. And I thought to myself, I said, well, you know what? They're doing a lot of downsizing and moving people around. Doesn't that seem like an attempt to move me out my situation?
Doesn't seem fair either. You're going from a 2 to a 1, that's smaller.
Right. So this is my apartment, guys. I got dogs. I hope y'all don't mind.
No worries.
So this is my place. How y'all can step in, look. This is where everything. So, as you know, the first thing I want to show y'all is this. I've been had this issue going on for about 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah, because I'm currently also, just because I'm a candidate doesn't mean we don't all fall short and we're not all struggling or going through certain things as well. So, just like any other citizen here, we're in NYCHA court, going through housing court and things like that. And they're always trying to push you out. But yet and still, this been on the list for them to fix, and they still haven't fixed this.
4 years.
The judge ordered them to fix this, and it still haven't been fixed.
When was the judge order? 4 years ago?
I just went to court also recently because they had to endure it, and then they didn't even let me know I had asbestos
So
until
that
after
right there
the
is
court
asbestos.
date. This is, and also the tile floors, because I had them test both,
Do you
and they
know-
didn't even. Hold on, matter of fact, let me take that back. I had them test the floor tiles in this because upstairs had asbestos, above us. They tell me they doubt it came from here. They never tested it. So when the asbestos people came, I had them test the floor tiles in this. So right now, they still haven't told me that, hey, where the asbestos came from, only thing we know is that you got asbestos in your house.
So you have it, but they haven't
You
connected
don't-
the dots for you.
Right. So for them is, oh, you must got it from floor tiles. How? Because I had the company that was here also test this as well.
Who put the floor tiles in?
NYCHA.
So you didn't come in and just put your own tiles?
No.
Okay, so they're not trying to blame. Okay.
So look, right? There was a leak upstairs above. There was a leak.
Okay.
There was a leak a few years ago. Look at this. You think that's all bubbled, all bubbling up? That's paint. Do anybody know what happens when moisture, paint, and mold? Correct.
Which is not good for you or your kid.
Right.
Or anybody.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
And as you see, I try to keep everything clean, nice and neat.
Sure.
Now, I want to take you out of this part over here real quick. I also, we also have the wires. Now this, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes we gotta also take personal responsibility. As a man, this is something I can easily fix, right? Sure. Myself. But when we ask ourselves, when we have these cable companies and they're coming through, you would think when NYCHA come and they see this, they would help a brother out by, look.
Stapling it or something?
Yeah, let me staple, let me help you, let me put this out, because anything can happen. If a fire break loose, what happens? It affects everybody. So they leave stuff like this up to the tenants to fix.
So when they come in here, the maintenance guys,
Right.
it's just, who cares?
Right.
Nobody.
So, and my thing is that I get it. It's like, all right, you want cable, we didn't ask you to install this. But even though they do have wires that connect, it's like, all right, we didn't ask you for this, but if you have it and we see it, yes, it's messed up, but we're not going to touch it.
So it's almost like it's not my job. I'm not the cable guy.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
But yet they're paid to take care of this building.
Correct.
And with the budget they have, I'm sure they have enough of those little
Right.
things to nail in a little.
I'm pretty sure if we was downtown in Midtown, and the landlord was to walk in to see what a cable guy did or whatever and see bad work, let me fix that for you.
The maintenance guy super would jump.
We'll jump on it.
I agree.
Because they have a representation they must uphold. NYCHA feels like they don't.
Well, unfortunately, because nobody holds them accountable.
Right.
But November, I'm planning on making that change. Definitely.
Come. This is my table right here. This is where I eat food at. This is my friend Eric right here.
Peter.
Nice to
Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
So this is my table. This is my pops right here. This is my father.
Okay.
This is my father. This is my grandfather right here. That's me. That's my little brother, the one y'all saw. And that's me right here.
Yeah, he's not that little anymore,
Yeah,
right?
definitely not that little. That's me, my daughter right there.
Beautiful.
Look, I even got the picture with me, my grandfather, me as a baby with them holding me. Actually, this was the last picture we took together. They both passed away in the same year.
Sorry, brother.
He passed away, I believe, in July, and then he passed away in August. He had cancer.
How long did that start?
That was a month ago.
So, all right. So, because you're pushing back on the
Yeah.
lack of them doing
Correct.
the right thing,
Correct.
now they're trying to screw with you
Yeah.
because you have the dogs. Two
Yeah,
dogs.
So
Two
I
little
went
dogs,
down,
by the way.
So I went down to the office. I talked to them about it, and I said, you know what? I know this is not over the dogs. y'all want to get upstairs. So I'm gonna let y'all upstairs. Pick a day. I gave them a date.
Okay.
So they came, and they did, mind you, they did this over a month ago. Come, look.
Wow.
I want y'all to look at this hole.
Right into the guts of the building.
Look. This is a month ago. And you would think that after they go up and they do this, so this wasn't even an issue. This wasn't a problem.
But now it is.
Now it is because they came to get to the apartment upstairs to fix their asbestos problem. They came, put a big hole inside my bathroom, and they only put cardboard over it.
Not even a piece of wood.
Not even a piece of wood.
So cardboard and duct tape and black tape.
Yep.
Not a piece of wood, not even a piece of plexiglass.
Listen. As your city council candidate, I'm living in certain conditions that you could be possibly living in, or probably worse. My only thing is, well, let me backtrack. As a candidate that's also living in NYCHA and as a resident of NYCHA, as you see, I'm facing the same things that many of NYCHA residents face. I work, I pay taxes, I do what I gotta do, I'm a father. So once again, when we talk about the quality of life, people are not just having mental issues. People are living in poor conditions. People are fed up. So understand this. If I was to bug out, then we'll say, hey, he has a mental issue. I don't have a mental issue. I have a quality of life issue. And we all have that problem. There should be no reason why they came into my apartment to fix somebody else's stuff and made more damage. So nothing is done.
So the moral of the story was no good deed goes unpunished. You let them get access to your apartment to fix the guy upstairs, or the lady, whoever lives upstairs.
Right.
And they fixed whatever it was. Great for the neighbors. But then they left your place in a worse condition and didn't patch up properly because cardboard, duct tape, and black tape. Sorry, that's not an appropriate fix.
Correct.
And you've been waiting a month, you said?
A month is about to go on 2 months.
And any idea when they're coming?
Oh, so because they found the asbestos, they said that they're not gonna fix nothing up in the house. They're gonna wait till they move me, and then they'll come renovate the house, and then they'll move me back in, if they move me back in.
So they're not, all right, so we spoke about this earlier. They're telling you they're gonna move you from a 2 to a 1 bedroom. So you're losing a bedroom. You got a 2-year-old.
Right.
Okay. Now they're telling you you're gonna go to a 1 bedroom,
Right.
and they're not telling you that they're not even saying when they're gonna finish the renovations, but eventually they will,
Right.
and they may or may not move you back into this place.
Correct.
So this is how the guy's living. He's not sure what's gonna happen. They're gonna go from a 2-bed, he's got a 2-year-old, to a 1 bedroom, and they're gonna renovate the whole place. God knows when, how long it'll take. But when they eventually do renovate his unit, they may never bring the guy back here. He doesn't know. You have no clue. So Tyreek's living in limbo.
Because this is the thing, right? They know I have. So I signed my daughter's birth certificate. I have a daughter. But because she doesn't live with me, I can't put her on my lease. Even though I physically take care of my daughter. You see my daughter things over there.
Lots of them.
You know, she's always here. They have seen me with my daughter.
Sure.
So that's another thing. As a city council candidate, if you have a child, your child has access to both homes. Your child does not just live with the parent or the guardian. Your child could also be put on the lease of the other parent as well, under court regulations and court rules,
So it's a
if
loophole.
it's permitted. Yeah,
That's a loophole that screw with people like you.
exactly. Because at the end of the day, we need to get rid of that loophole. And if you vote me as your next city council candidate, best believe if you're a father and you want to also make sure that your child has somewhere else to stay, and you're a mother, you want to make sure your child has somewhere else to stay, and they do not live with you, you can at least put them on your lease, so therefore they're secure either way. Because if something happens to that other parent, that child's coming to you anyway. Automatically.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to assume, it's my first time here, but I'm going to assume most, if not all, the residents here are black and Latino. Or
Correct.
most of them at least.
Correct.
Okay. Now, what is the sentiment? The election's obviously coming up. I'm sure a lot of folks know, everybody knows you're running. It's your area, your building.
Correct.
What is the sentiment from our African American and Latino constituents here? Are they revolting against Democrats? Do they realize?
Let's do that in this way. Let me show you in here because it's too much. It's hot in the back. All right, so let me show y'all. This is the room right here.
So this is the room that's been regulated, no use, just storage.
Yeah, just
Because
storage.
of asbestos.
I got my daughter's stuff in bags right here. I can't utilize this room.
It's a
at
decent
all.
sized room that you like to use.
Look, because of this. Now, once again, I've been living here since early 2000s.
Look at this, guys.
I've been living here since 2000. This is their floors. This is NYCHA's floors. This is
So
not mine.
you moved in, they were here already. You didn't come in and change the floors.
I didn't change the floor tiles and
So
none
they
of
can't
that.
blame Bad product, bad workmanship.
Listen, look, to be honest with you, we did this out here, and you can see the floors is better.
We can see it's better than what you got.
The floors that we put down ourselves is better than the floors that they gave us.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you're not a professional contractor or carpenter, are you?
I'm definitely not.
Okay.
So I could have fixed this. But just imagine, right? Imagine how many people. Now this is gonna be the kicker.
It's crazy, man.
Imagine how many people have cracks and dealing with stuff like this.
Just in this building.
Just in this building or anywhere.
Okay.
And they're not thinking asbestos. They're thinking floor towels just need to be switched. Cosmetic, yeah. So you will take the floor towels up, replace them, and you'll still be living in asbestos and not even be known.
And breathing it in the whole time.
And breathing it in the whole time. The fact that I've been in here this long, you know how I found out that I had asbestos? So after I got taken to court, and they realized that they had to adjourn it because it was a difference of income of what they was trying to amount, which they found out they was wrong. So they was like, all right, we're going to adjust it for you. All right, good. I seen the maintenance guy, and I said, hey, we just came from court. They said y'all was going to fix this. When are y'all going to fix this and such? And did you let me, and what was your findings on what y'all came to test? Oh, we got to move you. You got asbestos in your apartment.
Just like that.
Just like that. I seen them outside.
Like almost like, hey, I had a hamburger for lunch yesterday.
You would think they gave me a letter, a note, anything. No.
And they know you have a 2-year-old daughter who spends a lot of time here.
Correct.
So one thing for you, obviously, it's not good for anybody, but when you're a little one, a 2-year-old's a little kid.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure that the NYCHA people, the supervisors, you know, I'm not coming at their character. I'm not saying they're bad people or they're evil people. What I'm saying is that when somebody's not being held accountable and there's no oversight of their job, there's no way for them to be held accountable how they treat the tenants. Because at the end of the day, if I owned a building like this, if I was an owner, I want to, right? I'll be in court
and I'll be in the newspaper.
Right.
Yep.
So we got to understand that these things and these living conditions is what your average kid is living in.
Or veteran or senior.
Or veteran or senior. So when we talk about mental health is on the rise.
Sure.
The pill epidemic is on the rise because the quality of life is not being kept.
And let me ask you this. So we spoke about it before. Most of the people who are living here are black and Latino.
Correct.
And traditionally are a huge voting bloc for Democrats in urban cities like New York, especially New York. Now that you're running and you're not running as a Democrat. I'm not running as a Democrat, obviously, but focusing on you. Do you feel the shift in this building, in this community, in these project grounds is shifting where they're realizing we have to get away from the Democrats because decade upon decade upon decade, nothing has changed?
I'm going to be honest with you, Peter. Us doing this, some of my peers that was outside watching us do this, that's the change. Them seeing me, that's the change. Who else they know that's really going to care about their issues other than gaslight them and say, hey, we're going to do this for you. We're going to do this, that for you. I'm not promising nobody anything. What I'm saying is that this is what I had enough of. This is what I'm living through. And we share the same kind of similar issues. So come with me and fight this issue. You can't lie to... See, candidates are able to lie to citizens and civilians because there's a big disconnect. They don't really live what they're going through, so it's easy for them to say, hey, well, you know what, this is what our ideas, this is what this is that. Me, I'm actually living through it.
So you're one of them. You're one of their residents.
Exactly. So to me, I'm looking at it like as one of their residents. It's real simple. For the garbage outside, we need a big bin. One of those big bin things. For NYCHA, stop subleasing and stop out contracting.
How about sweeping outside the liquor bottles and food? I mean, we talk about Mayor Adams has a rat czar. We spend a lot of money on this. We hear all the time, but we saw so much garbage outside. Not just bags piled up, but litter.
So let me tell you something.
Well, how come there's not a maintenance guy sweeping it up? Get a dustpan and a broom.
They will hire private contractors to do that they know that involves their agendas, that make sure the money come back into their pockets. Instead of you hiring these outside contractors, hire these contractors to make trades and then hire our own to fix the things that goes on in our community. I'd rather see somebody anyway that I know that I can easily call and say, hey John, hey Michael, I need you to fix this in the house. How much? All right, I'll come over. Let me just type this up in NYCHA. NYCHA will pay me for it. They can come and do the job.
So a resident training program?
Resident
that
training program.
Residents could help their own
Correct.
get a meaningful job, because these are city jobs with good benefits, good salaries.
Not only would it be a city job and good jobs and good benefits, you're able to have somebody on go. We have painters in-house. We have painters here. We have also contractors here, but they don't get hit with contract work. They got to go outside of their community to work. We don't have enough community retainer, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And look, like I said, probably the first agency, and it's a toss-up honestly between the MTA and NYCHA, but NYCHA would be one of the first, if not the first, that I want to audit when I become comptroller, because decade upon decade upon decade of a one-party rule in the city, including council people, comptroller, governors, mayors, for the most part, it's a one-party city. They control NYCHA, they rule it with an iron fist. Nothing's changing for the better. And when you have people like this, look at the condition. He's got a 2-year-old daughter. Look at what we've seen so far. We've heard it from other, you can walk in this building. I mean, yeah, that doesn't say. You can walk in this building anytime you want. The other tenant downstairs told us he's caught men and women, you using the toilet, for lack of terminology, in your staircase. Anyone can walk in. There's no cops outside, yet they're in front of that shelter.
Right.
The shelter's got a door that works and locks. The shelter's buzzer works.
Correct.
And if they have an elevator, I guarantee it works. And we didn't see any garbage or any trash outside. We were actually commenting how, I think it was on Bruckner, they've repaved the road, it's painted, it looks nice.
Bruckner, where you'll see migrants at, it looks good. Why? Because trash and migrants do not look good. So they want to make sure that, hey, their area is clean. But for their citizens, trash and citizens look good.
So my personal take on this is that as Americans, as New York City residents in general, they're trying to replace us. But I think in this area, they're trying to replace you guys with those migrants.
Correct.
And I think that's the reason we saw recently that the highest court shot down the law that no, you can't vote, because they want to bring them here, pay for everything, and then it's going to be like, hey, you owe me. So who are you going to vote for?
Right.
You're going to vote for the team that brought you in and subsidized you, or you're going to vote for people who are going to deport you and send you out and take care of people who are here legally, who
That's
were born
why,
here?
as city council, if I was to be elected as your city councilman, my first job would be to work with Peter to look through the budget, for him to even teach me about some of the things that's going on in the contracts that's happening. Because a lot of people don't understand is that once you get elected, NYCHA and everybody else still got their contracts of everything else that they're doing. You really can't stop these things. The only thing you could do is just plan better for the future.
But I as comptroller, I could stop contracts, I can audit them, and I can work with folks who are elected that can do legislation, like you and the council and other people, and we can get together and say, hey, this has to be a law, we have to stop this. Or we can basically say, look, the numbers don't lie. We're going to show where the money went, and then when they're spending insane, it's like the MTA. When they're spending insane amounts of money, you can't get a paint job. You can't get your walls patched up. You can't get your, and it's crazy.
Can you explain to the people, just for the average citizen, what is a comptroller and what y'all do?
Sure. So in a nutshell, it's basically a fiscal watchdog. So what the role of the New York City comptroller is to basically audit the books. So the taxpayers are paying money into whether it's the Board of Education, NYCHA, MTA, corrections, police, fire, so on and so on. So the job of the comptroller's office is to look at those contracts and see how much we're spending, and also make sure when you have bids that go out, it's done in a competitive fashion where we know there's a lot of monkey business going on and all kinds of scams and kickbacks, but they're supposed to put in your job. So if there's a bid to paint every apartment in this building, hypothetically, and the ABC company comes in at 10 million, everybody else is coming in around 3 million, but that guy gets the contract, why wasn't that vetted better? What makes that guy's company or that woman's company much better to pay 3 times more, whatever the overage is? Correct. So we have to look into that. There's a lot of these companies, they donate to a lot of these folks that are elected. And we know that was just a year and a half ago, 50 NYCHA people arrested. I think it was Brooklyn maybe, but maybe the Bronx, but somewhere where kickbacks, pay to play, oh, you want the job? Give me something, So we have to stop the corruption, the incompetence, but the job of the comptroller is going to be to audit the books. Where's the money going? And if we see it costs that much to do the job, and they got that much, and the job's not done, or it's not done properly, we have a problem. Money needs to come back. Cancel contracts, and also if needed, prosecute those people in NYCHA
Correct.
or at those private companies and hold them accountable so people like you and your neighbors don't live in conditions like this, because it's not acceptable.
One of the things that I would try to do as city council is make sure the dollar generates here. And how does the dollar generate here? We're not talking about just race, we're talking about just a block in the community. The dollar needs to generate in the community how? So like we said, if we have NYCHA that's already subsidizing and handing out contracts to these people that's making 10 millions but nothing is getting done, or they're taking long to do a job, why not come local? Why not look locally? You could easily, like I said, there's people here that make a lot of money that are, you know, that have jobs, that have contracting jobs, that run an MTA, that are supervisors. My mother, she was a correction officer living here for years before, you know, I finally came back from college. So my thing is that when we talk about circling the dollar, NYCHA and even the companies around, we need to open up and make laws to where it's like, okay, we're able to pay our own people, we're able to make things happen fast, and then we can outsource to other people who need help.
Well, I got a good one, and I'd like to. I know there is something because I worked in the contract business before. I was not a pleasant business, but I've worked in, so I have a good idea how it goes. But what I'd like to do is make sure that when these people get these mega contracts,
Right.
that some of it's going to entail they're going to have to take X amount of people from these projects, teach them something, let them go through the apprenticeship or the union,
Right.
you know, whatever it is, teach them to be a journeyman, electrician, a plumber. And at least if they can't get trained up to do that job in the building, in the future, they'll be trained up to work somewhere, whether it's private or the public sector, and you'll have people who are going to benefit from that. Because right now,
Vote Peter.
no, but
Vote Peter. That's what we got to do.
listen,
We got to get him in.
We got to vote for Tyreek. Listen, we got to vote for Tyreek. We got to vote for me. It's not. It's bigger than just me or him. We've got to vote for conservative and Republicans this year because De Blasio did a number on us all. Adams did a number on us all. I mean, look, the city's on the brink of collapse. And whether you live in Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, some of us have different issues, but we're all suffering. It's not safe. The money, look at this, the money that we have going into NYCHA, every one of these apartments should be immaculate. We shouldn't see stuff like this. We definitely shouldn't have asbestos. This guy shouldn't have these problems. And definitely when you have 2-year-old daughter staying here, this is just unacceptable. So it's beyond just Tyreek and myself. We need to change the mayor. We need to change comptroller, public advocate, council, everybody up and down the ballot. So look, it's not about what you're accustomed to voting to or what's on your registration card for voting. It's about changing the leadership because the team's not winning. New York City is losing. The residents, we're all losing.
Correct.
So if folks like Tyreek, myself, Gonzalo Duran, Curtis Lewa, et cetera, don't come in and take over the government in this city, it's going to get worse. We're running out of money. Everyone's leaving. Businesses are leaving. And it's not sustainable. So the money that goes into NYCHA to get this result, and we know he's one of thousands and thousands of people. We could spend probably the next 3 years covering NYCHA in all 5 boroughs, and it's one horror story after the next. So if we don't put people in who are going to actually put the taxpayers and the citizens first, whether you're a NYCHA citizen or not, doesn't matter. This is all affecting New York's bottom line, and no one should live like this, and no group of people, taxpayers, should be on the hook for this when we're not getting our money's worth. Right. The residents aren't, and the citizens are. Right. No matter where you live, anywhere in the city.
And you know, a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of these things can be easily addressed. These problems are fixable. And when we talk about representation, a lot of us, we're looking at politics through color, black and white. Let me let you know something right now. If you're white and the white man tells you, hey, you need to follow me because we're white, you're being led astray. If you're black and somebody's telling you, hey, you need to follow me because we're black, you're being led astray. No longer can we look at each other through black and white lens because those are the ones who are using you and mistreating you on all sides. Once again, Peter doesn't come from where I come from. And he's in a different party. He's a Republican. I'm a conservative. Yet and still, he came out here and dedicated his time to understand the issues to see what's going on. Because once he realized and said, hold on, there's a candidate living like this? And I came to him and I said, hey, bro, I would like you to come into my house and see what's going on and see how I was living. He said, hey, you don't got to do that. We could talk about it in different ways. I said, no, it's important. because I want you to also see and get the feeling of how it is when you're in the projects and we're living in the way we're living. And for him to come here and, also give us game and also tell us, his plans, I believe in that, and for me, thank you, my brother, for coming out here.
Thank you for having us. I'll come back a million more times if I have to.
I just want to show you downstairs so we can talk about the garbage issue.
Sure.
And then just want to have y'all, just in the back so we can look at how much we live in the ghetto. And
How much change needs to happen?
Definitely. Right now, we're standing in front of a resident employment service center that used to, be used for computer training, that was used for the community and to educate the community. We had GED, preparation. We had a lot of things that was given to our community that's taken away. Now, as you see it, it's a home for the homeless. You get what I'm saying? Right across from the kids' basketball court. So that means that after the kids come from playing from the park or after the kids come out of school, what do they have to do? Where do they have to go? And this has been shut down for some time. Come, let's look at this. Right now, we're in John Adams on Jackson Avenue, standing in front of an old, closed-down residential appointment service building center, and it's been closed for about like 7, 8 years now. As much representation we had in the city, you would think that they would have programs opened up that would help us. And look, it's closed down. We got needles right there.
Hypodermic needles, guys. And turn around, we got a playground. Now, nobody's playing now because the kids are inside. It's wet and rainy, but you got basketball courts, you got little kids' playground, you got junkies getting high right here, leaving all their paraphernalia behind.
Now, look at this. Look. This is what they used to teach. Computer training, job preparation training, community operations, computer training. Right now, our kids use CapCut. Our kids are one of the Black and Hispanic kids are the ones who are using the most technology. Why are we not learning these things? GED testing preparation, career development program.
But Tyreek, more importantly, why don't we have the money for this anymore?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Where'd the money go?
Where did it go?
I mean,
we still have the building here.
It's
The center is right here.
The building's here, but we don't have anybody using it except junkies outside anyway.
Right.
It still stinks. You got all these posters, God knows how old they are, but we're subsidizing illegal aliens and their families, giving them everything, and we can't utilize this money for our own people who are living here in these projects.
Hey, you want to bring back the community? Vote those who are highlighting what we need in the community. This is how we bring the community back. They took this away. Look at this. We don't got this. So you keep this up here for what? To gloat in our face, to show us what we don't have, and then yet it's still we have our political leaders that say that we don't know what a laptop is. Right. We don't know what these things are, but yet it's still look at what they took away from us. Yep. We must fight and we must make this change in our community. But if you vote me, Tyreek Goodman, as your next city council, I'm not here to play with your elected officials or the ones that's in office. What I'm here is to tell them we need this. I'm demanding this. I'm not even asking. We need these things back in our community.
Yeah, I'm just speaking from the heart. I feel like our community do need other opportunities so we can get our kids out the streets. We don't need them in the streets where they're gonna get into some bullshit. When we got community centers like this that can be open and we could keep them learning like technology, coding, let them learn real shit, like no disrespect, like but we don't have equal opportunities as, like, let's say that, for example, the white people, like we don't got them same opportunities, but we deserve them as well though. Like our community should, and it's not a bad community, we just need help. Right. Ain't nothing wrong with people needing help, you feel me? We don't got no guidance. A lot of us grew up without no dad. My dad died when I was 3, you feel me? So, like, it's just different for us, you feel me? Look, no disrespect, say Saturday I'm over here, I'm enjoying myself, I'm just trying to clear my mind. People, I'm 38, but I'm lucky to make it this far.
You know what's crazy? This man right here is a wonderful father. He been with his wife for years. You get what I'm saying? Son is a beautiful kid. So when we talk about change, he here, I'm here, and once again, we're raising our kids to be better than us and not go through the same situations that we had to go through. You know what I mean? So even the fact that we had to have a whole conservative and Republican party take the initiative to elect a candidate like me that come from just like where my brother come from. Just where we come from, you know. So at the end of the day, we're not here to play. We're here to say, listen, the citizens is no longer asking y'all for change. We're demanding.
We want it. We're not gonna ask no more. We need it.
Right.
And ain't nothing wrong with us asking for the equal opportunities that the other boroughs that they get it for free.
Right.
But we don't got nobody trying to put no money into this area.
Well,
so
let me ask you a question. How do you feel as someone who's from here when we drove by that shelter over there that we're bringing in illegal aliens that shouldn't be here in the first place and they're getting better stuff than you guys?
we don't even get money for that. Like we should be able to at least compensate us for dealing with them. Like y'all putting us.
Right.
Well, no, but seriously, while we're talking, tell the elected officials here who've let you down.
Right.
Tell them how they suck
and
they put those guys ahead of us and they put them ahead of you.
And then we don't even get the equal opportunities that they get. They was getting free money every month. Like, we don't care about that shit because we gonna work for our money.
Right.
But at least try to give us opportunities, equal opportunities. If y'all gonna feed them a little $1,200 a month, give us $1,200.
Right.
Because we're all rocking Air Jordans.
And we not. Yeah, God bless us. A lot of our people over here working hard, 2-3 jobs.
Right.
Our parents got one parent household because a lot of fathers is either in jail or dead. So we don't even got the same equal opportunities that kids grow up with two parents in the household. Like, I ain't even complaining. I'm not complaining because at the end of the day, we do what we have to do for our family. We're gonna make it work. But we just saying, like, it don't hurt for us to get a handout, and we ain't asking for much. You feel me?
Right.
We just want acknowledgement.
The city of yes need to be the city of putting its people first.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a shot for that one.
Just as simple. Yo, my brother, I appreciate you. People like us.
I don't even like talking. I just did that for him.
Right.
Respectfully, I love this. I love this man right here. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
And thank you for acknowledging us.
Let the people know you gotta vote for different people.
Yeah, my brother's here, bro. He trying to make change.
Tabby, you want to say something to the camera?
Thank you.
Come.
Just basically, run ideas in the community, statistically speaking.
Right.
You know, like dumpsters and things like that, doing with the garbage, especially the maintenance in here. You know, the programs that aren't open, and just keep sending out flyers every day. You know what I mean, through the media.
Right. Well, thank you, my sister.
Thank you.
It's done.
Yeah. Well, Peter, thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming to my neck of the
Thanks for
woods and
hosting
the
us.
projects.
Yeah, anytime.
It's always a pleasure just to bring people around, let people know what we're going through. Once again, my name is Tyreek Goodman. I'm running for city council. My slogan is be the change you wish to see. And voting me in is voting for the change.
Listen, you guys heard it from Tyreek. And like I said, we got to change people. Starts at the city council, starts at borough presidents, DAs, judges, but not just council and comptroller who I'm running for. We got to change everybody because the folks that are supposed to be leaders, those who've won elections and are elected officials, are doing us all an injustice. And if we don't change those who hold those seats, we're just going to spiral downward and nothing gets changed. So November, guys, be smart. Vote for people who you feel are going to make change, like the two of us. And it's not just us. There's many other great people on the tickets.
Yeah, shout out
the
to Curtis Lewa. Shout out to Duran Gonzalo, Elijah Diaz, James Wright, Emmanuel Finley. We got a couple of people out there that's doing what they got to do. Conservatives, Republicans working together. We want some Democrats to come out and support the cause. You don't got to always go with your party if they're wrong.
And they're always wrong. So, yeah, really. I mean, listen, they've been wrong for a long time. Look, they've had a stranglehold on this area for decades. One party.
And you see.
And it's not getting better. So you guys got to change the leadership, the people that you vote for, citywide, because this one-party rule is taking us down the toilet quick, and there's no returning if we don't start changing the leadership. And that starts with electing conservatives and Republicans. I mean, you got nothing to lose. Give it a shot. It's only going to get better.